Okay. This is from the last game.
Now that you've played your first NBA game, how are you feeling?
I feel pretty special.
It feels great, man. It's a real honor to be out there on the court for this team. This is a day I've been dreaming of my entire life, and to see it finally happening has been just amazing. I can't wait to get out there again next game.
Mr. Babcock, there is a lot of hype surrounding your entrance to the league. Here at Jordan, we are interested in players that performs at the absolute highest level that will also represent the brand and with integrity. I've got my eye on you, I can tell you that much. If you can prove to me that you belong, you'll find that I can take your career to the next level. Nice. Okay. Let's do a drill on shooting, because my guys seem to miss quite a bit. Alright, here we go. Alright. Oh. 2, 1.
Yeah. Okay. I'm the best, I don't have to practice. Double team, I don't have to pass it. Ballin' hard in our Chevrolets. More bets than a Dallas Mavericks. Hall of Fame, I like Shaq and Magic. Kobe Bryant, now back to back it. Shoot the 3 if I have to dash it. Dwight Howard when I'm at the basket. In the gym without the gymnastics. D-Wade, got the flash it. Checking the count, got so many O's. My name and the is Robert Parrish. When it comes to the J's, I got the classics. Jason Kids and I got the Patricks. Number 1, number all the draft picks. Championship, got to have it. Been the starter since day 1. I'm with Kanye, I run with kings like Tyreek, cause I've been the prince like Tayshaun. But I feel like LeBron everywhere I go, cause every time I score, you know, haters looking at me.
Oh boy, I need the ball. Wow, that sucks. Oh no. Oh man.
Like Chris Paul, I'm somewhere. I'm out high like Carmelo when the Knicks call. You D-Rose with the free throws. I done made every shot. You to think I got the cheat code. Memphis Grizzlies, beast mode. 47 Carolingo. When I'm hurt, I'm suited up. Never catch me in street clothes. I'm on point like Rondo.
Yeah, I lost. You got more zones than me. Got 2 more remaining. I'll do one more quick drill. Let's do a dribble course.
Let it go.
after this.
I get up every morning by the 4:45. Work a steady job just to stay alive. Get home and go to bed by the 9:45. Gotta go do it all over again. Up early in the morning just to
Wow, I missed. How? I don't even know how I missed that.
with all that game with the new dough in. Work 2 jobs, but you don't do windows. Whatever you gotta do to pay the window. Work all day, work all night. At the end of the month, that money spent though. Work it out, overtime. Hold down the house on the soldier grind. Making sure that check is signed. Next in line, yeah, do that work. Then you out to
Oh my God.
job, but you ain't about though.
I can't get past him. How am I supposed to get past him?
Living large and having things, bank accounts, large amounts. You was lost, but now you found. Work and make the world go round and round. That's what I'm talking about. Dollars, pounds, euros, yens, even pesos on the spin. You can laugh and you can grin, but it's all about those getting big checks, private jets, trying to leave you out of debt. Working man make the world go round and round. That's what you best forget.
The gunner here. I'm not good at this game at all. Alright, let's play the next game, I guess.
Here we go. Now other rap dudes ain't near me though. This that free stereo. Hit Louis.
Welcome to Charlotte as we get set to bring you the Bobcats as they'll take it to the hole at the Time Warner Cable Arena. And for the Milwaukee Bucks, they come into tonight's game after the loss to the Spurs in San Antonio. And that does your confidence, guys, no favor. They got manhandled in that one. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, tough to win when the ball doesn't go in the hole. And that was a team that was ice cold shooting the ball that night.
Well, Steve, shooting to me, shooting percentage is a function of the kind of shots you get. And if you don't get good ones, you're not going to shoot a good percentage. That was their problem, poor shot selection.
Now, the starting group for the Milwaukee Bucks. Ilyasova and Bogut, they're inside. Steven Jackson is out there with Jennings. And it's Mbamute in at the 3, the small forward. And for the Bobcats, Augustine and Henderson are the backcourt pair. Boris Diaw is out there with Maggette. And it's Thomas in at the 5, roaming the paint.
Well, Charlotte came into last season on a high, having made the playoffs, and then a year ago they slipped back in a lot of ways. They made changes.
Alright, simulate to the next appearance.
Now we go to Doris Burke, who spoke with Scott Skiles. Doris?
Guys, he very specifically addressed his players' awareness on the defensive end. He told me that's the one thing he's depending on tonight, an intelligent performance on defense, which usually feeds into the rest of their game plan. Guys?
Wonderful, Doris. Just thanks to thinking about Clark and Steve, their defense right off the bat here.
Yeah, you're never going to go wrong putting the bulk of your effort into getting stops. I mean, that always pays off.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if that's going to be the case, if they're going to bring that style and that type of energy, they've got to be ready to go deep into their bench tonight as well.
Jennings with the bucket. Back to Charlotte, and Steve, you're just talking about that. You thought they were turning the corner the year prior, but they couldn't keep the momentum going. They changed coaches. You talked about the injury moments ago about Jackson. They had a lot of things that kind of got in their way.
Well, even that playoff team from a couple of years back, Kevin, you don't know how much higher the ceiling was for that group, so you almost have to think that rebuilding is the right step for them going forward, even if the fans might have to suffer through some tough years. Sometimes you got to tear it down to build it back up in a better fashion.
A free throw drops for Augustine.
You know, Raymond Felton was a big story with his breakout season last year, but the good news for the Bobcats was that DJ Augustine stepped into the starting role, and his numbers went up really across the board.
And so he hits both. And Steve, for DJ Augustine, a nice bounce back here after regressing somewhat in his second season.
Well, of course, the Bobcats, as Clark mentioned, kind of handed him the job after Raymond Felton left. But Augustine's a nice player. You know, he doesn't have the physical size and speed to be an elite player, but he's very skilled. He can shoot it, he can handle the ball well, and he can really initiate the offense.
By Jackson. 6 to shoot. Here's Henderson, and the layup falls.
A few things you know you're going to get with a Scott Skiles coach team. Tough defense, tough-mindedness, fundamentals are going to be demanded. That was a formula that worked for the Bucks in their playoff run in 2010. But they need to find some offense now.
Dooling for 3. Grabs the rebound inside. Back to Skiles. Unfortunately, last year they were just okay in those areas. But, Steve, they just had a horrible offense.
They were very good defensively, Kevin, but they just could not score. And I think that's the big challenge this year for the Bucks if they're going to get back into the playoffs. They've got to find a way to get easy baskets offensively.
With the clock winding down, and there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time. Here's Temple. We saw him with 10 points last game. On the court for Milwaukee here in the second. Udrich out there with Dooling. Then there's Gooden. And it's CDR.
Nice.
And it's Red in at the 3 spot. Here's Udrich. Trailing by 2.
Well, Milwaukee had such a tough season a year ago. They had a lot of high hopes, but injuries seemed to derail them. And they never could get going, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
A 10-footer. Shot by Gooden is no good. The Bobcats with the lead. Going back just a bit, you know, Milwaukee much more comfortable, it seems, Clark, playing Eastern Conference opponents. Of course, they see him much more.
Yeah, that's a familiarity as part of it, but also I think the fact that the Bucks prefer the slow-down game, and in the Eastern Conference, more teams play that way than don't. So the Bucks had a chance over there and still had a tough time getting wins. Boy, what a significant turnaround here in the second quarter after only making 40% from the field in the first.
Head passes to Dooling. Goes right up. Another touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Dooling's got his first points of the night. Gooden defending. Stolen by Douglas Roberts. And here we go. Here's Udrich. Rebounded by Corey Maggette. And so here is Charlotte. Up next for them, the Grizzlies at the FedEx Forum. That'll be the first half of a 2-game trip. The Bucks trail. And this is the first time matched up with the Bobcats this season.
Well, these teams were very similar in a lot of ways last year, especially in the standings. But they were able to take the season series from them. Gathers.
It counts. He He's got 6.
And saw just a little bit of daylight, went right to the rim.
Yeah, they were 2 pretty decent teams last season. Mark, as Steve just made mention of, their regular season matchups were interesting.
Yeah, you know, Kevin, but they had an advantage in just a few critical areas that gave them the upper hand. They did a good job of winning the majority of those games.
Hits the bucket.
Good job using his speed advantage to create the separation he needed for the shot.
He has 6. Babcock. That is good.
There was no question about it. He was going to finish that one off.
Now Udrich. He feeds it to Douglas Roberts. Near the three-point line, it's Red. Fires the jumper from the corner and nails it.
And now 6 of their last 10 points from mid-range.
Yeah, jump shot really serving these guys pretty well. Tough run here the last couple of seasons for Michael Red. He's torn both his ACL and MCL the last couple of seasons, and he did both of them twice. That's almost unheard of.
He's got 8. Just 5 to shoot. Straight up. And Dooling pulls it down. Thinking back to Michael Red's injuries, it was nice to see him back out on the floor at the end of last season.
Yeah, I agree with you there. You know, I'm partial and biased to him, Red. We're good friends, and he is a fellow OSU Buckeye. So that obviously rates high with me, but nice to see him back healthy. And I think he's got some good years ahead of him. He's a terrific leader. And now that he's been able to go through that the second time with that knee injury, I think he better knows how to get himself ready for NBA basketball.
He seems like a great kid. I know his family upbringing, so he's got a nice foundation right there, but he seems like he's a real good kid.
He's as high quality a guy as you ever want to meet.
Oh, no.
Well, he's showing off his defensive instincts by making plays just like that.
Blocked. Bobcats leading by 4. Passes it to Chris Billa. Goes straight up, and he lays it straight in. He's got 10.
Well, that makes 5 of their last 6 makes coming from inside.
Yeah, really focused on getting the ball into the paint because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there.
And Milwaukee calls their first time out of the game.
And Charlotte's struggles last season, guys, were really reflected in their play at home. Because in previous seasons, Time Warner Cable Arena was a tough place to play. But the Bobcats' home record really fell last year.
Alright, here we go.
And so that brings the first half to a close. 2K Sports, back in a moment here at the Time Warner Cable Arena in Charlotte.
And welcome. The NBA season is in its early stages, which means we're just getting all warm and cozy here on the HP Halftime Report. The Bobcats taking care of business. They've had some uneven play to start the season, but are still working to add to that win column. They've made a point of working themselves to the charity stripe and knocking down their free throws. And on the other side, Milwaukee just keeps scrapping. They played gritty D and have been hauling in the defensive rebounds. Some fantastic numbers to enjoy here. What a first half for tonight's leading scorers. And now, other NBA games in the books from earlier. Let's check them out. In Philadelphia, the 76ers take the win over the Timberwolves. With that game in the books, they split their last 2 outings. Thaddeus Young was their top scorer. And another game also in the books. They ended up just taking that game over. They were in complete control. The bulk of the scoring came from Russell Westbrook. And a look here at the other action around the association. Out in Atlanta, it's the Hawks taking care of business against the Celtics on top by 5 in the third quarter. And now back to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K broadcast crew for the beginning of the third quarter.
Welcome back, everybody. The start of the second half getting underway. Both teams battling hard through the first half. Here's Henderson. Babcock in at small forward. Augustine and Henderson are the backcourt pair. McGinty out there with Tyrus Thomas. That's the Bobcats' 5. Here's Henderson. He's covered by Dooley. 4 on the clock. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Looking at the game Augustine's been having, he's got 11 points, and he's picked up 4 at the line in this one. Getting it done there as well.
But you always want to get to the line as often as you can. Execute the free throws. So important to a team's success, controlling the foul line.
Gets the first. That'll give him a 9-point lead. Making a switch here, the Bucks. And Mbaamute's checked in. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Here's Jennings. 1:41 left in the fourth quarter of this one. A 3. And Jackson with the basket on the assist from Brandon Jennings. Jennings has got 4 assists in the game. Charlotte calls timeout. They're leading by 7. 1:29 left in the fourth quarter. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Hi, Kevin. I was able to hear the advice Paul Silas gave to his team during that break. His message was fairly simple. He said, we can't waste any more time. When we get it, we've got to take the ball to the hole and immediately get back on defense. This game is about stops and scores now, guys.
And thank you, Doris. Clock at 6. Thomas kicks to Augustine, shoots over Jennings, and there's Augustine. That's good on the assist by Thomas. Augustine's got 4 points now in the quarter.
They are just lighting him up from mid-range area.
You know, sometimes we forget about the value of the mid-range or in-between game. This team has made 8 of their last 10 with that shot, the in-between shot.
Outside Jennings, and again Milwaukee with the triple.
We've seen some great shooting from him today. They've got to lean on him a little bit more.
Less than 1 minute left. Augustine with it. Thomas inside. Bogut on him. Open look. And Charlotte again with the bucket.
Just cruising to the finish line.
Yeah, and barring something catastrophic happening, it looks like they'll go home with a nice victory here.
Here is Mbamute, and he floats in for the easy 2. Credit the assist on that one.
That is a terrific play. You hear me? A terrific play. I call that a room service dime because all he had to do was catch and finish.
Here's Augustine, and so they choose to intentionally foul. Can't get the first one to drop. Connects on number 2, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Here's Jennings. And it would take divine intervention for them now to get back in it.
And even that might not be enough.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think?
I don't see it. Very little chance of a comeback. I think this is over.
They get it back. Goes back up. And it's sent back by Thomas. So it's Charlotte picking up the win.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah, I think so. They were just steak knife sharp. Very on top of their game here.
Well said. That'll do it for now. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, and the rest of the 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for joining us.
Nice.